All right, so thank God my vidyard cut me off because I am done covering the pre race part. Now getting to the race itself. Yeah, I was playing with my goggles, adjusting them because if you don't, they can really hurt under your eyes. There's different types of pains when you swim. So there's the muscular one, there's the one of the goggles. There can be one with the helmet because it's so tight, so you need to adjust it. Potentially one with your buoy, but I didn't have any of these problems. There's the chafing, right? So there's the shaving cream, and then there's the solar pain. So I certainly had a lot of those because I forgot to put sunscreen on, even in the back of my legs, in parts that I didn't think the sun would reach me, and my calves. Um, and yeah, obviously there's the mental pain of like being low energy, which I'll get into in a couple moments. But yeah, I start the race, okay, and the greatest pain of this race, the freak out, the total freak out was when we started the race. Because keep in mind, these are all elite swimmers. You might see fat people there, you might see old people, but don't mistake the appearances. Don't judge a book by its cover. These guys are beasts and they will kill you. Like these guys are like, yeah, sharks, like from a water comparison. And that's like one clear lesson out of this race. See this fat man there, this old fat guy. You'll see like old people as well. They're killers, man. Like don't mistake them. So we start the race and people go all out, man. Okay, all the shit energy that people accumulated for the poor organization of the event, all that pent up energy got released at the beginning of this race. So people are going all out at the beginning. They're swimming like crazy, and when you swim, it's just like hitting. Okay, it's just like hitting. It's like swinging. So they start off swinging. Like, and I'm in the middle of all that commotion, and I don't know why my brain didn't think about that, but I started with the first folks. The first folks are like sharks, and they're like, get the fuck out of my way. So I've got people hitting me from all directions. Um, the results of that is that usually I breathe every three swings, and then I start breathing every two, and my heart, boom, 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 boom. It's like the adrenaline and all of that. Just a bad fucking idea. And I'm in the middle of all of that. Plus, I have light claustrophobia. And I think that 95% of humans would fucking freak out in this situation, if not 99%. Anyway, so my usual calm self kind of goes in freak out mode. And before long, I have to swim crawl style, so my head out and I'm like, dude, I need, and then my second plan is, okay, I need to pull out to the right. But these dumbass organizers, again, they're like all funneled up at the beginning, So there's probably 10 meters one you can swim, and all of us are fucking funneled. So there's no way out, basically. So you need to struggle up until the first 50 to 100 meters. You can't even go on one side, Maybe if I would have started at the back of the pack, so that was the lesson. But anyway, like, dudes, don't make a funnel, especially at the start. And I guess people are just funneling out because they want to see, they want to film, and all that bullshit. But anyway, that was like a major panic point in me. The beginning of the race was like, okay, man, this is fucking freaky. I am not sure how I'm going to do this, I had this major freak out when I did the world's highest summit, El Pico de Orizaba, which is, yeah, just a major panic point, where you're about to abandon ship, kind of. So it was that hard. So how did I surmount that is the question. And I didn't have that a lot, right, in my life. I did a bunch of like crazy in the head events, and yeah, this was one of those. So how did I do? I just kept on going, I just kept on going. And before long, I found myself quite alone. Maybe that's because my brain entered a panic mode and I was like, okay, fuck humans, I'm just going to swim alone. Yeah, fuck them. I don't ever want to get stuck between like four humans beating the shit out of me, punching my legs, grabbing my buoy. It's chaos. When a human is in survival mode, they'll do anything. It's like crab in the buckets, right? do not think that us humans were good when we're in a primal state. We're all about win loss. We're all about killing the other and surviving. So people were like grabbing me and shit. I didn't do that, but I have my personal space, and obviously as a mixed martial arts fighter, you don't fuck with me. Even in the water, I can knock people out. So I'm somewhat good with that, but I still had that panic. So yeah, before long, I find out myself quite alone. So let's go in the map here. So that leads to the struggle of that whole race, which was a hell of a fucking story. So I start there, right? Or somewhat there. So what we're supposed to do? The currents are going that way, right? Um, they're going from north to south. I can probably pull out a map to prove my point, but I probably don't. And my dumbass self hasn't studied the map. But I had a good mental construct of where to go. But people that I was asking, like, where are we going, kind of told me not to go in that right direction. Anyway, long story short, I began swimming in that direction here. Yeah, so the current was really that way. I began swimming way too much in this direction. So and people didn't tell me, right? Because me, I was looking at the boats that were supposed to have buoys, like gigantic buoys, which you can watch. They didn't, or at least I don't think they did. No, I don't think they did. Anyway, so and this I'm still trying to make sense out of what happened. It's still somewhat confused, but basically I go way off in that direction, and I don't know if I'm hallucinating or something, but I thought I saw people swimming in front of me. Just that these people, they swim like way faster than me, and before long I couldn't see them. When you swim and there's waves, right, you can't see shit. You can't see shit in front of you, especially that the buildings in that island are not super tall. My point of reference was probably 5 story tall or six. um, so yeah, I kind of lose track. By the way, when I started the race, it wasn't like all jolly, but it was really fun. For 1 hours, I was limpid water. I saw a turtle. That was beautiful. And by the way, these are the memories I'll that will stay with me, not the negative ones that I'm telling you. I'm trying to give you all that's in my head, right? All the data, so you can make your own conclusions. If I'm an asshole or whatever. But yeah, I swallowed some waters also in the first. I swallowed a big gulp of water in the first 30 minutes because I tried to look up and then a wave hit me right in the mouth. So it was pretty choppy that day. Um, but yeah, the first hours was smooth, right? I was alone, but I began to see no one. While most folks, what they did, I think what they did, they swam from there and then they cut like this. Next time I'll prepare more. I'll do some more research and shit. Um, but yeah, I began swimming. No one is telling me. I was looking at boats. I always saw a boat by my left. And then the assholes organizing the race. Because I identified the race organizer. He comes up with his big fucking boat, that smelled like shit, by the way, with 5 other like guys, and they're trying to man me up. They're like, okay, you're not going the right direction. You need to come on the boat. Come on the boat. What the fuck do you mean? Um, Hay que subirte. Está muy 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 lejos. They tell me. So I'm like, fuck you, dude. Who do you think I am? Do you think I'm taking shortcuts? Fuck you. And so I tell them no. No me va a subir. No, no. So I have to tell them no like 2 or 3 times, right? Um, and then the lady that first told me like you need to go in the diagonal. No, I didn't need to go in diagonal. I needed to go like way right. But anyway, I won't put the blame on her because she was nice, because she ended up like negotiating with these guys so that they don't take me on the boat. I wouldn't have let anyone take me on boats, even if, yeah, fuck that, and and yeah, she ended up guiding me. So we almost did like a full 90-degree turn. Um, but it wasn't fully 90 degree, because at the end of my swim, I calculated 10 kilometers, and I need to accelerate that story. I probably cut it short with the race because my order is coming, my groceries coming. Um, but basically, yeah, she ended up guiding me like way to the right. So she was really nice for that. Um, and offered me food or water. I said no because I was still well hydrated, although I started to have salt mouth. Um, back then, which is like lots of salt in your mouth and your throat. And didn't affect me in the end, but so yeah, she guided me, and then she helped another person, so she had to leave or some shit. And then she gives me a point of reference. She said, "Look at that boat. That's where you need to go." So I look at the boat and I ask her, "Is that boat moving, or is it like one of these boats that are stuck there?" So and then she, no, yeah, that's a boat, but it was a fucking moving boat. So then I was induced in error, but she was really nice. I won't talk shit against her. She was like really nice lady. So props to her in any regard. It's mostly like my own lack of planning, all of that. And then I find out this dude that's in kayak. So she was in sub panel, so that she was somewhat easy to see. And then I find out this guy about that's kayaking, and he tells me like, "Oh, I'm almost there. I think I was like 3 or 4 kilometers short. And back there, you start. First, I was sunburnt because I had, I had how do you say, chicken skin or whatever. Like my skin was all like, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it's because the water's hot and cold, when you swim. But no, I was fucking burnt. So I started burning like half of the race. This means not only that you're going to suffer later on, but it also means that your body is taking important resources from your body. So you're really slow. That's what it means. So yeah, I'm swimming. It's all choppy fucking water, up and down, up and down. I'm not looking at my watch, by the way. I don't want to look at the kilometers because else I'd be like super discouraged. Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's like, oh, mom and dad, where are we there yet? So as I swim, and the guy guides me, he's always like, more on the right, more on the right. And I keep going on the right, and I keep like end up on the left because of the waves, right? The waves were really, really taking me in the direction that was super tricky, super tricky. Maybe that it's my swim as well. Who knows? So lessons learned. By the way, my swim was 1, 2, 3 breathe, but I switched it to 1, 2, 3, 5 breathes because I found out that I had more oxygen. My average heartbeat rate was 107, which is really low, which is satisfying. It's like zone one for my nerds out there. But yeah, I start bunking. Like literally, I start not having energy. So I asked the kayak guy, like, hey, apart from stopping and asking him for direction and him guiding me, um, I told him like, "Hey, dude, yeah, can you give me a bit of water?" So I drink water and it tastes like salt, man. It's like this shitty Nestle water, like full of calcium. So I taste the salt, ugh, disgusting. So I gulped some water, and my fear was that I was gonna throw up or shit myself, which I did not. But I farted quite a lot on the second end. Let out lots of gases. So thank God that I didn't get like too sick. Um, And the guy is like, "I have some chocolate." I'm like, "Chocolate? You have some squares of chocolate? Some cold chocolates?" So I eat some chocolate, and I'm like, "Oh, this is giving me like super duper energy because there's magnesium, there's manganese in chocolate, there's sugar obviously, and there's caffeine." So I was like, "I love you, dude. Thank you." So yeah, drink water and chocolate once. And yeah, like I'm all, so I continue, right? I'm probably on my last kilometers. I'm like, and I finally see some not shallow water. And at this point, it wasn't beautiful water. It was water full of algae, full of shit. Um, yeah, people near Isla Mujeres, they're not taking care of water. And yeah, it's shit. It's shit, the water near there, or that part of the island, right? There's a bunch of boats and pollution. So it's like really negative, like really negative mental space that I was in. So my order is still not there. So yeah, I was like, oh, when am I getting there? And then I start seeing this shallow, beautiful blue water, and these waters are like super duper beautiful, especially in the first end. And fishes and yeah, blue fishes. Although I didn't see a lot of them because yeah, lots of pollutions, but that's another story. Um, Cancun waters are still freaking beautiful, and I'm like, oh, race is finishing, shallow waters, nice. Then I start playing this song in my head, right? Um, what's this song? I'll show you here. I had theme songs, right? Because your brain it gets kind of boring. Um, Kid Kid Francescoli, Moon. That's such a good song. So I had this one stuck. So this is like a good time song, And then I had a challengeful song, which was Yukon. So these are playing like on repeat in my brain. Yukon, which really represents the harshness of Yukon and the harshness of the swim. Museo Subaquatico. Too bad that I didn't see the underwater museum. I had expectations for that, but I don't know, man, what kind of path we took. Sorry, Brain and Charles, I didn't took this path, but um, I wish I would have seen that museum. I think I got like way in the direction I shouldn't have got. Anyway, so that song starts playing in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm super, super close. And then the guy tells me, like, you're there. Don't tell that to someone that's struggling, or maybe tell them. I still don't know what to think about that, but basically I'm not there fucking yet. I'm not out of the fucking woods. Why? I'm like 2 kilometers close, but the current near the island is like 2x what it was elsewhere, meaning that in shallow waters there's this mantle effect, which is that you're swimming, but you're like not seeing the progress of your swim. And yeah, there's more currents. I'm like not moving anywhere, and that like really destroyed me mentally. I was like, oh man, when's it getting there? So like I kind of get discouraged, and I asked the guy again for chocolate and water. So oh, and by the way, like one thing, right after I take this, it's like the struggle. There's a second guy that asked me to come on the boat. Fuckers, like he asked me like, hey, there's no more boats out there because I'm last, like literally. Fun thing, by the way, when I started my race and I started swimming alone, my ego is like, you're either first or you're last. And then at some point it was neither, right? It's just that I was straight from the pack. But then it became like literally I was last because I didn't follow like other swimmers. Next time I'll follow other swimmers. By the way, that's a strong lesson there. So yeah, the guy's like, yeah, dude, you need to come on the boat. And then I was like, eres loco? I told the guy, are you crazy? And then I continue swimming, but few did I know that I was still a long distance from my goal. So then I see the kayakista again, my friend, he's a very nice guy. And yeah, he tells me I'm almost there. He tells me to follow like this point and that point. It's really confusing. The paddle lady, she tells me to follow that tower, which is like it's not fucking visible. I have like 10 on 10 eyesight, and she tells me like midway, oh yeah, do you see that little tower there? No, I don't see it. That red and white tower, and I still don't see it. Anyway, so by the way, I'll find a point on the map to show you like what's the point, and where we got down. Rancho, Parque Los Sueños. I'll find the place. I think it was like more there. And yeah, I continue swimming, and it's taking forever. And then I see like I see this boat. I see those boats that were moving. I'm like, oh, this is the end. I see these yellow flags. I think 1 kilometer in, but no, it's these fucking boats that keep on moving. These organizers' boats, that are confusing as fuck. Like, why do you have a yellow flag that is, like, in my mind, an arrival flag? It's not the fucking arrival. So yeah, and I keep swimming on one side because the current keeps bringing me on the other side. And yeah, like the guy, like, I'm swimming towards where he told me to swim, but like finally there's a final corner. At this point, it's like ultra patience, right? But there's still the little kid in me that's like crying, yeah, right? He's like making a mess. He's like not in agreement with all that bullshit. Um, so yeah, like I'm getting frustrated and worn out, but finally I see the arrival. I also see a guy. Um, that's next to me or something, because like 1 or 2 hours in, I didn't see no one, zero person, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours even in the race. I was swimming alone, it's just like really bad sign. But then I think the last hour I saw someone. I was like, human. And I began following that human, because it was really lonely out there. And then right at the arrival there was this guy swimming next to me. And yeah, he was swimming behind me. So long story short, I arrive. I'm like dizzy, obviously, trying to stand on sand, just for the mental feeling of standing on sand after like 5 to 12 hours. Sorry, 5:20, 5 hour 20. And I'm like, sand. I see my wife. Mind that at this point I'm all sunburned, and I look at the clock. My goal was like 5 hours, I think, which is ridiculous, by the way, because most people they finish that event in three. World records are 2 hours. But yeah, I finished like not dead last, but the one behind dead last. How many participants were there? Like probably 500 or so. Um, and yeah, like mixed feelings, right? When I arrive, like not giving any attention to any humans, I'm like that fucked up, So my wife tells me things, and she's filming me and telling me things. I'm like totally disconnected. I I I look for a place where with no sun because I'm all sunburnt, and I start to realize when I go out of the water, because in the water you don't feel that. I look at my ankle; it's all red, and like, oh shit, my ankle is burned. Um, there's bananas and oranges, so I take a couple of those. There's like cold ice water. Good idea, guys. Good job, the organizers. I chug a couple of those, and yeah, I'm sitting on this plastic chair, not thinking about anything. It's not even a relief, because when you swim, you're like, oh shit, when will the pain stop? Let me just send a quick message here because my order is taking way too long. Um, and yeah, there's all these athletes, that are waiting for the ferry boat, which is there, which is kind of cool. I thought we would take the ferry at another place. Apparently, there's some food. There's a buffet as well that you have to pay 120 pesos. That should have been included. The food is, yeah, less than average. They should give you like a a king's meal. That's what they should give you after all of that. But anyway, I end up ordering one of those until we wait for the boat. I eat my energy cubes that I didn't eat during the race. Maybe I should have ate them, by the way, to not bunk. And yeah, I just chill with the wife, like real knockout. I tried to meditate, but it's just too much for meditation. Then I realized that all of my side leg is also burnt, and that my full back is burnt, which is somewhat ironic because I put some sunscreen there, 2 layers of sunscreen. Um, I also have some chafing that started in my arm, although I put some cream, so thank God for the lady. Although I do think that the full cream is taking out. Um, and I have a bit of chafing in between my legs, so like on the glutes, kind of. And yeah, a bit of pain started in my back, but that's not the real pain. Like using my back to swim for 5 hours 20. Even today, I can't really feel it. Although I think I have muscular leg pain, which is weird. But yeah, I end up like with that kind of pain. And long story short, we take the boat. I cannot like be exposed to any sun, right, for at least 1 or 2 days, even today, because it burns. We take the ferry back. Oh yeah, they gave us the medal and all of that. But yeah, I'm like not really there anymore. Anyway, we missed the first ferry that got out, and people were really sharky, like the other competitors. They were like running and complaining and really like rushing to get in and out of the boat. I think people were really pissed off by the low amount of organization, which is like one of the point of realization here. So we take the ferry back. I'm listening to some podcasts, some music, smiling to myself because it's a hell of a fucking accomplishment. Um, yeah, it's a lot of pain, guys. It never stops. You just swim and swim and swim. And when you think you're done, you swim again. When you think you're done, you swim again. When you think you're almost done, you swim again. And then you think you're almost done, but you have to swim again. So it's kind of an endless labyrinth of pain. That's how I would describe the experience. So really glad that I did it and pushed through. Props to my brain for that. I didn't disappoint. I always deliver. I had two times folks try to weed me out of the game, like push me out of my objectives. Fuck you is what I have to say to those people. Always will. Fuck off to your faces. You don't ever stop me for accomplishing my goals, Don't project your weak ass self on myself, Even if I'm dead last, more suffering for me. That's the goal, I suffered for 5 hour 20, so technically I'm the one that suffered the most in that race. I burned 3K calories. Some stats for you guys. Um, uh, what else can I say? We arrived there. We stopped at our favorite commercial center only to find out that we didn't want to eat there finally, and I was burning myself at the commercial center. So we ordered a Uber back to the house, ordered pizza that wasn't coming. So I had to call the guy, the idiot that didn't know how Uber slash Rappi worked. Um, we also ordered water and a couple of things to eat some more. We stayed in the room and got to bed at like 7. Um, it was really shit sleeping because I was all sunburnt. So I would wake up to hydrate myself, go take a pee. We stayed in bed for probably 11 hours for the recovery, and I woke up like every hour, literally. Dreamt about AI and shit. Woke up at 8 the next day to rush to the third flight that we bought, or six because it was 2 times. Took a Uber to the airport, and that brings us to today, back to Oaxaca. At the airport, we ate cold pizza. I asked a lady to heat up my pizza. She said no, and even for 10 pesos. And then I ordered her some water, overpriced water, like $5 a little bottle, and 10 for a bigger. Then I take some napkins, and she says, "You can't take that much. No puedes agarrar tanto." So, test of my patience. So also, guys, what I want you to get, because yeah, this one's gonna end also this video. Various tests to my patience, right? So when I say negative stuff, it's not complaining. It's not complaining. Also, well, what do I mean by it? It's just like various tests to my patience, right? I could have exploded at any point. Like tell them to mean things. By the way, the organizers, I wasn't rude to them. To them, just telling you the thinking behind my responses. The second lection here, although I'm going to make a third video because this one's stopping soon, is yeah, very poor organization of the race, but also that Cancun is this toxic city. It's really had its time. Toxic cities have various ways to rot. Acapulco is now the city of bullets. There's new cities now that are taking over. For example, Tulum, Huatulco is definitely a nice one. Somewhat Mazunte, but Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that race necessarily. I'm gonna post other ones like the Huatulco one probably, which is the same company. And yeah, that was somewhat the race. I'm gonna make another video for my main points, the summary.